Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to LEGO Indiana Jones 2. The adventure continues. I just realized that we did not get that minecart race in the Temple of Doom. In fact, we didn't get any of the underground section in the Temple of Doom at all. Uh, so, yeah, a lot of the more important scenes in the game simply in were put in Lego Indiana Jones 1, which is the right way to do it because they weren't guaranteed to make a 2. But there's no repetition or new way to do that. See, well, now I found the key. That's nice to know. So we're gonna start this level in a second, but I was hoping maybe I could. This is an interesting Lego cannon shot. They're oddly shaped, and I don't think I've ever seen anything Lego like that. So if that's something Lego makes, that would be news to me. I was surprised when I saw the first Lego thing that actually did have a little spring-loaded or a pressure-loaded shooter in it, because I would have thought that Lego had a much harder stance against projectiles than it seems to. Well, there must be more of these red flowers elsewhere. And more of the silver things, and whatever the key is for, I don't know. So forget all that. So and see, this is his name Donovan? This is the guy that I believe sent Indiana Jones to the beginning. Now here they're not validly showing the movie either, because it wasn't the bad guys that started the fire. It was actually Indiana Jones or his father that knocked over the candle and started the fire. So we had a scene like this already in Indiana Jones 1, but this by far looks better. It's the same room, just the area is twisted and converted. There's, however, a lot more things. So, I suggested at the end of last recording, which went very long because it took me forever to find the area that I was supposed to go to, that you could have the in-canon game and then have a gag where Indiana Jones bumps his head at the end of each movie and then hallucinates the boss fights. This is gonna spell Indy. This is cool. This might be the first instance in a LEGO game, and possibly the only instance in a LEGO game where you spell any word besides LEGO. And see, that gave me a lot of studs for doing that. Let's see. Now we have some swords. And you got a little piano playing Indiana Jones' music. But it doesn't go quiet when it's playing, so that kind of sucks. And you can't break this statue for the very reason that Is there something more I'm supposed to hit over here? No. I can. Let's see, can I throw this all the way from over here? Nope, it goes into the fire. Oh, I guess I have to use the bottles to put out these fires, don't I? Oh, this is gonna take forever. Is there really no faster way than this? You've got to pick up these bottles. You've got to throw them. Oh, man. This desperately needs a gag where you just build a sprinkler to put out the fire. Well, there was fire in the Harry Potter series, and they certainly never had a issue like this. And there was fire in Indiana Jones. No, not Indiana Jones, but Lego Batman 3. All that carpet is so burnt. And they never had... They never had an issue where you had to just throw bottles. I just think the bottles idea in general is probably not good. So we go this way, and we throw this. And then that permanently opens the door. Well, almost a true adventurer. Here we got a full table set. And we'll put out this in case this is something that actually needs to be done. It may not. The way the levels work in Indy 2 though is there's very little that doesn't need to be done. Seems like there are no extra moves. See, here's a weird turn of events because I need to push that statue down to stand on one of the switches. Which I could have just pushed the switches, at least theoretically, by picking up the box of Lego pieces and putting it on the switch. We've seen that in other Lego games. I'm sure it wouldn't have let me do that, but it does seem kind of like they made extra work and didn't explain. And we built them with a guitar. That was kind of a funny gag. Let's see. What is this gonna spell? Nothing. It's just gonna give me an opportunity to jump on top of these books, to jump on top of this, to collect that. I have score times 2 right now, so it is somewhat helpful. I've got a bugle now. Step here, and then we move on. So this is a clear instance of where that one screen, that one scene, what is better than what we saw in Lego Indiana 1. But the rest of the level in Lego Indiana 1 blows away this because there's just nothing there. How does one open that section? Are we having a controller issue again? Yes, we are. So for the second time, and I have never seen this in another game, the controller has completely reverted. Without any warning screen, without anything at all. Am I sitting on something? Like, here's a... It thinks it's still a controller, but it's just totally screwed up the input. So unplug it, plug it back in. Thank goodness for the quick release connectors on the Xbox 360, although I don't actually like where they put the quick release connectors, because it is at the end of the computer or the Xbox to stop the Xbox from getting drug around, instead of near the controller. It needs to have one at both locations. One just right where the microfaraday connector is, which is the little bump that's about an inch away from the controller, and that's a little magnet that they put on devices to stop radio interception. Otherwise your long cords would act like an antenna and you'd get interference from the AM, FM radios and other things. But right there needs to be a second quick release connector, in my opinion. We're running around finding these bricks. So these tiny little brown studs that now at 1080p you have this little issue. So I saw that key, we'll go get it. Where things are getting too small for the resolution. As your resolution goes up, you either have to zoom your camera in, or things are just going to get smaller. And for a game that more than likely is going to be played on a TV, in particular, the camera is pretty far away. There really is no reason right now that the camera is as far away from Indiana Jones as it is. Sure, it helps me see the overworld a little bit easier, but that's not to say that I think the game needs some kind of zoom option, although that might be helpful in a few places. I think it should just be more a case of they should, as the resolutions become more standard, 1080p is pretty standard now. It should have been the goal even when this game came out. There should be like a scaling factor, like a standard scaling factor. I know such a thing doesn't exist, but it'd be nice if it did. So like, if Sony or Microsoft came out and said, look, if you're doing 1080p, you should scale your game to a certain aspect, and you can kind of, there should be an easy standard anybody could follow with 2K and 1080p and 4K at the very least, because 2K is technically twice as big as 4K with 4 times as many pixels. 4K is technically 4 times as big as 1080p, so you could see how it would be really easy to say, well, if you're at 2K, zoom your cameras in twice as close. If you're at 4K, you zoom your cameras in 4 times as close. And in general, there's been a factor in which they've been zooming cameras out so you don't see the detail and realize that the game is not as pretty as it would seem. Let's see. Also take note, I'm only at 87,000 studs, and that's not enough. By far not enough. And I can't pick up these apple carts and put them on the Switch as the game is lagging. And I can't blow up these statues. See, and I'm looking all over here, thinking this must be the next level. But it actually doesn't seem like it is. Now, in Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, they had remakes of the races because the races were very bad in the original release, and they included them as bonus things because they said, here, if you want to see how it was difficult, more difficult, and they still, I think, made them a little bit easier. They included them. I suppose the level that we just played would have to be, well, here's the remake of the level that we made, but in the default play, just play the Lego Indiana Jones 1 version. I think that would have to be the way you would do it. Yeah. The real issue above everything else, I guess we have Indiana Jones's father now. Does he have the book? No, I don't think he does. I suppose the real issue right now is that they approached the creation of this game. I don't know why I said he. They have music playing somewhere. Their approach of making Lego Indiana Jones 2 is just a flawed approach in the first place. Because it wasn't with an eye to integrate the two games into one. It was with an eye to release a second version. So score times 8 is 6 million. We now know that. That's good bit of info. But because if they had started with the premise that they were going to make Indiana Jones 2 and they needed to make extra scenes and extra levels. See, there's just like old-timey Indiana Jones song playing. Where's the song playing? And it gets quieter. This is very weird. I'm never really a huge fan of when games do something like this, or just audios. And see, it gets quieter when getting close to this, so you'd think, I would have thought it was that, but that's just weird. So I'm not certain if I actually have to purchase the vehicle and get into the next area, but that would make all the sense in the world. There's a lot of instances in this game in particular where you would have had to watch the movie and sometimes watch the movie recently to get and understand. I guess those silver barriers are telling me that I do need to purchase the car over here because I couldn't purchase some vehicle somewhere else. And it's only 5,000, and I think that in particular is probably a good indicator. And apparently I can do this race. Where's the rest of it? Race, 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 race. Alright, so we now know what happens when you do a race. It just unlocks the next vehicle, which kind of confirms what my thought pattern was. As far as, I'm surprised that's broke. As to how this game works and how it's so different from every other Lego game. So you buy, let's see, by breaking the record of beating the race, not really breaking the record, by beating the race, you now have the opportunity to purchase the next vehicle, and then you use that vehicle in the next race to purchase this, almost like a racing game. Just that concept is pretty much a direct takeaway from a racing game mechanic, where you would race somebody and win a vehicle, or race somebody and when you beat that person you get that vehicle. Which would be cool if they were making a racing game. It's kind of silly as it is. So I can break these slightly, but it doesn't seem like I can break them enough to break the full amount and make the horses on top fall down. Wow, we made it to 100,000 studs. Well, we know where we're gonna go, and see here that you see a lot of lines here, but no Nazi swastikas, and they never say any words, so they don't say Nazi. It's really played down because it would have been, this game would have been banned in Germany anyways if it had been, and there's really no reason. Although arguably you might be getting to the point where you're just whitewashing history at a certain point, where it's just unnamed bad guys over and over again, but who cares? They can learn that in the history classes. I still have 7 blue bricks that I need to collect, but I've got all 10 green bricks, all 10 red bricks, and we have like 3 more levels just powering through the story, skipping major sections. And there really isn't enough story in the Indiana Jones movies in the first place to be skipping sections. I would have preferred to just replay the original levels of the game. And I think that's part of their flaws, that if they had just put all of Indiana Jones 1 into 2 and just copy and pasted it, and then said Lego Indiana Jones 2 is this, and you get all of 1, so you still have that fun, and then you have the new stuff too. That would have been very difficult to integrate since they're doing so many different things and using a much newer engine, but it would have been a more complete game story-wise, because there's almost no story actually happening in this game. Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.